Welcome everybody. My name is Corebloodbrothers. Yeah, I'm going to use it in a bit. I'm a bit curious. There's 200 people here in the audience, and I'm curious what you all do. Who lives or spends most of the time in high sec? Can you stand up? Stand up, come on. You're proud of where you are. Who makes their living by rolling into wormholes? Can you stand up? Unsafe day to day. There's one final thing. Who is from Corebloodbrothers? Can you stand up? Can the other people from Nullsec also stand up? Because it's not a big power block in Nullsec, but today in this audience we are. So who's from Hero? I'm serious. I'm not good. I'm totally kidding. I think it's epic that whether you're a Nullsec dude, a high secker, or a wormhole, whatever, that you're here. Last year I was here in the bar with 120 people, and we had an awesome afternoon. And today, Dieter told me we sold more than 200 tickets already, and there's nothing stopping us from reaching 400 in next year, and 800 and the year after, a fan fest maybe in fucking Amsterdam. I'm a bit, do I need to speak to the mic? Yeah. Because I hate that thing. I'll mostly put it where my mouth is. So, as you can see, my name is Corebloodbrothers. I'm a CSM 9 representative. The people who sit here are here to watch me and take care that I don't say stuff that I'm not supposed to say. So some of the questions I might pass on to the panel here in the front. I'm going to tell you guys a few things today. First, I'm going to explain a bit about myself, how I play Eve, my alliance, my region where I live, Providence, obviously. And I'm going to get into some detail about certain things that happen to us in the CSM, or what CSM means to me and what it doesn't mean. And hopefully there's some questions about a few minor changes to Nullsec at the end of the presentation. I'm going to try to do this in English. I'm not a native English speaker. One of my internal was Botman. He leaked my article 2 days ago to Eve24, bastard. And everybody fell over my spelling. But English people try to type as good Dutch as I try to be English and be fine. And as a scoop for you guys, it wasn't a leak. I passed it on to him in Skype. Though I didn't get the money for it actually, Bob. We need to talk about it. There's one final issue. The last presentation every member of Corebloodbrothers did on FanFest ended up in us getting war decked. So that was a bit of an issue. I think the official statement was the fact that we didn't have any pictures in the presentation. So I think Fourth got a war deck because of that. It was true, Sil, right? Yeah? It was true, right? Yeah. So I'm going to put as many pictures as possible in the presentation.
Too many pictures.
In the end, okay, we'll talk about that war deck. I've run for CSM 3 times now. And the first time I did it out of mere curiosity. I thought, okay, I run this 200 people corp. I mean, that deserves me a seat in the CSM, right? And I didn't. I got like 400 or 500 votes. But in those 400 or 500 was also, I was like, I have a 200 people alliance. Why 400 or 500 votes? Pretty interesting. And I noticed that I only needed to double it to get in. So I tried it again, CSM 8. I had Ali Aras in Provi running as the major candidate. and she got in, which is awesome. And I noticed when I looked again at the numbers that I fell one spot short. And it was really a surprise to me. So I thought, okay, so all I need to do is kick Ali out of Profi, fix that shit, and I'm golden. I'll make season. So indeed, when I put myself up, I really said, okay, you can read the comments. Profi is not big enough to elect him single-handedly. People said I wouldn't make it. I was watching the stream, and you pay that stream, and you sell all the items, and immediately you have your blacks earned back. So you all know that thing, it's fucking epic. Matthias is sadly not longer with us, but suddenly my ugly skull, number 3, was there on the place. Some numbers for you guys, because you think maybe I got elected with a very little numbers. You can see, because people voted solo for me, I got 24% of the votes. Goons together got 26% of the votes. The people in the audience also show how loyal Profi Blog as a blog is to each other. It's just some statistics. In real life, that's my wife. Those are my 4 kids. My friends in my alliance always say the person to the right is a BL spy who tracks me on a holiday. For some reason, also in August when the Euro invaded us, we always get invaded when Profi FC is on holiday. To the right you see my history. I've been playing E for quite a while. I tried it before 2007 on another tune, but I forgot the details even from it. I like to PvP a lot. These days, as FC, I don't get on all the kills anymore. But I'm still pretty proud. This is a picture from a month ago. I got 9,400 kills in Eve, which I find quite nice. It's good. It's a lot of content on Profi. As I said, I'm an FC for Provenance. Some of you know my name, or you shot at me, or you have a corpse of me, or you hold me down if you're PL, you wrap me and you keep me in space for half an hour. It makes me want to shoot myself sometimes, but nah, it's all good fun, guys. Provenance. Provenance is a weird region in Alsace. It's something we take pride in. It's NRDS space, not red, don't shoot. It's I don't want to use the word clusterfuck because it compares to another part of Nullsec, but it's a collection of a lot of soft holders that hold very little space. I hold 5 systems of 1,700 people. Severance is here with 10 people today. So really a mixture of soft, all tied together. I stole that text at the bottom from Sander from Phoenix. NRDS, do not shoot. It means we do not shoot neutrals. It's, and I mean it seriously. We have a red list of 3,000 plus people. We currently have the issue in Provenance that we run out of slots because CCP allows 3,300 standings. Fix it. 5,000 please. I remember my first day. By my alliance, we wanted to recuperate and we found some space in Profi, and we sucked a bit up to that guy running the show. We got some space there. We were 200 persons big. We jumped in our carriers, and the first night we wanted to go in a row. And on the 2nd or 3rd gate, we were running Tangus and recons. And there was a neutral. Damn, neutral. So our FC said, okay, point him, web him, and we'll start cost checking him. Let's say after the 3rd person in the night, we almost had to pack up our shit and probably. So, okay. Well, another thing we're very known for is our famous doctrines. I have basically one doctrine, and it's called the kitchen sink. The beauty about the kitchen sink doctrine, that everybody flies the right ship. Think about it. Providence is run by CVA as a legitimate historic holder in the form of Equinox. He made this loving picture for me as a token of gratitude for how we work together. You can see that, it's epic. There's about 10,000 alts living in Provenance and Spice. We have 70 stations, so you can do the math, it's 150 person per station. Now, on a serious note, you can read it at the bottom, that's the sucking up part. That's, I'm very proud of being a part of that block. Especially after they voted me in, which is, let's see. My own co-op, you can read it. We mean this pretty seriously, actually. Everybody's responsible for his own actions. in a long term. And the past, we were called elitist bastards and shit like that. We were 200, we had everybody in Evesterdam. And now we're 1700, and I still pull the same numbers in the fleet. Something went wrong along the way. We go armor, we've done a lot of armor recently. I came across this picture and I just wanted to share it with you guys. My wife finds it actually pretty kinky when I put that suit on. So another saying about Profi is that we don't own caps. And not so long ago, I decided to do a cap op in low sec. And I thought 2 cycles is possible. PL will not make 2 cycles. This fucking close. And we have a 1 cycle policy these days. Another thing Profi is known about is the butterfly effect. Probably you all heard of the butterfly effect. It's a small ripple somewhere causing big effects across the universe. We went, not so long ago, we went to Hat and we started shooting a station, and because it went so nice, we pushed that station actually into its final timer. PL noticed and also counted that there's only 5 moons to anchor bosses on, and decided to straight away take on Hat, and it's after PR the biggest fight ever. That evening I killed like 25 capitals who rubber banded out of Hat. It's fucking awesome. Also, the 9UI war, like I said earlier, if you want to be in the CSM, you need to kick out your competitor, which is Ali. It's of course a joke, because I respect Ali and what she does to new players, and also as a CSM member, it's on a serious note, it's insane what she does. But of course we need to have a joke about it in Profi. We kicked her out, and her alliance, why? Because she was not living up to NRDS within our corporation. It's a long story. It was also very sad because it was an active PvP corp that left because of that. At the moment we're brawling with Hero, big time. Why? A few months ago, Republic of Area. Republic of Why? He was rolling with a small gang and he came across 25 capitals on the station of Test and Hero, grinding stuff. The pro as we are, we ran to the Titan, a kitchen sink fleet, and I had no strons in my Titan. So I jumped in the half of the fleet that died, but in the end we nailed all those capitals. Exactly, yeah, we had too many battleships. Yeah. Half a year later, those same dudes who started this little war in own Catch, and are our biggest adversaries at this point. And I still dunked their capitals, which is epic. Our last fight, we had a big fight, ZQ. This is what the devs said on Facebook. 72 billion ISK blown up, 45 ships killed, all sub-capitals. That's the beauty, and probably you get a lot of sub-capital fights. On a daily basis, 20 to 70 billion capital fights with 100 up to 3, 4, and these days when NC and PL and everybody drops in, like it's open house, you climb to 1400. Needless to say, the changes to nullsec. But to be short, your neighbors you need to take seriously. You need to treat them with respect. Okay. I'd like to ask you guys, Provenance is too long the focus of attention, which is also for news sites. If Provenance dominates EVE 24 too long, there's seriously something rotten in the state of nullsec, because we're not that important. Nullsec should have like 15 providences brawling it out all over the nullsec map, giving you all each day a fucking epic evening. That's my personal opinion. CSM. Let's talk about that. There's some secrets and some benefits. I had to take some of it off. She knows what. What do you get when you become CSM? You get this awesome tag, CSM. It also means your mailbox explodes up to 120 EVE mails when you log in. And convo-wise, it's like open hunting season. It's like, do you have time? Yes, of course, come with the other people in the channel. There's a lot of meetings. You probably know the third guy from the left in that middle picture. He's here today. CTP takes care of one of your accounts for a year as a token of appreciation, which is nice. It's not needed, but it's a nice. I didn't know it actually, so that's nice. Hopefully you go to FanFest. At the bottom, you all have this from the e-forums. I have. This line. You don't have. I do. It's forum section that you all don't have. It's nice. It's where CCP and we communicate a lot. When I joined, I thought, okay, CCP, that's this well-oiled machine, and it's basically one big machine. And then reality starts kicking in. There's a lot of teams, there's time zones, there's a ton of issues. And suddenly you also have real life, which is also a bit of a bitch. And you need to get to know all these people. And then comes the communication. Skype explodes in the morning, 8,000, 9,000 Skype messages. Lately with the changes, a bit more even. You communicate with Link. CCP does an amazing job by recording most of our conference calls through Link and actually share them with us so we can watch them back later. The meetings we have with Iceland time are when I'm at my job at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And sometimes you sneak in, but yeah, you can't do that in front of your boss on a daily basis. It's kind of hard. Science and fiction, top secret. I think I missed something. No. Within the section, I'll just show you. First, I had a screenshot here of some internal forum post, but we decided it falls under NDA, and I can't tell you. What I can show you are 2 of the titles that I post in there because they're mine. And they're just ideas, they're not something you can afterwards go right for EVE24. I think this presentation course says there's going to be PI nullsec or mobile jump bridges. It's just a crazy thought. The PI in nullsec is a reality now. Everybody in nullsec can now PI everywhere. For provenance as a region, that's very important because we have all these neutrals using our POCOs and it's making us fucking money. But before you could only use it when you held the solve in the actual system. A funny comment on that was when we discussed it with CCP. There was a CCP guy who said actually, oh, it works like that, doesn't it? It's like, yeah, it's your game. It's like, no. But... And we started like, is it true or not? And we checked it out. No, you cannot PI if you don't own the system. Mobile jump bridge as a content creator is just a crazy thought to get more content. And then there's other posts. Yeah, but you don't get to see them, which is good and sometimes a shame. The CSM assembly hall, you all know that section. Look at the, I should have pasted, look at the numbers sometimes, 30, look at the views, 23,000, 30, 43,000. If you look at Threadnought from the nullsec changes, I think it passed 120 pages this morning.
328
328 pages. I try to read up on that, and then Skype, and then Bon asks you about your opinions on stuff, and wants you to leak shit, and it's awesome. Changing the face of EVE. If I'm going to ask you guys if you have an idea about something, who has a great idea for EVE? Can you put your hand in the air? Who has an idea that he likes to get implemented? Only one person? And you're not the people who mail me there. Everybody has ideas about EVE. It's also, I think, personally, how do you implement them? How do they work with CCP? Is it hard? Is it difficult? A small thing can be easy to implement or can be hugely challenging. An example was I asked CCP about bookmarks and fittings. I have my own fittings, you all have core fittings, for example. And I said, okay, well, isn't it really easy to push that to alliance fittings level? It's not that hard for me, I think it's hierarchy. And then a person at CCP explained me how the current setup in the database is not in a hierarchy form. So it's really hard to fix it, and I thought, it's a bit easy. So it's pretty interesting to get to know EVE into that depth, if that makes English sense. CCP, to me, is an amazing company. You guys here in the front, you were explaining which crazy travels you have in the last days and how it's going to be Vegas, Paris, I don't know where you all have been. It's one company, but it's a lot of different individuals. If I log on to Skype in the weekend, on Sunday evening, there's very likely a CCPer online debating stuff with us. 2 o'clock in the night, 4 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes we find something and we show it, or we explain a bug or something else, and then somebody says at 9 o'clock Sunday night, okay, that goes my program for the Monday, I'm going to fix that. And I find it really amazing to see that amount of dedication within a company. I'm pretty serious about that. I work for an IT company myself here in Holland. I do a lot of IT, but the dedication and the way, of course, we all like to, we pay a subscription, everybody does, like $1 a month, and with that you earn the right to bitch forever. And one thing the EVE community is really good at is bitch forever. But I really would like you to appreciate the amount of time and effort these people put in and get their faces known and fly here and sit here. It's awesome, really. Thank you. It's time for change. Let's not chat about nullsec. CSM is about, if I learned anything, it's about teamwork. There's a lot of individuals in there. There's PL dudes, there's good. I checked when I started CSM, I think, except for one person, the whole CSM is read to me on a standing space. It's pretty confrontating. But I soon find that you can set a lot of the differences aside because you share, if you look at what you share a passion, you share a love for EVE. And you try not to explain to people outside the game why you're doing this because it's not going to work. I tried to explain my wife this morning. So exactly, no, you go, don't come back, she said. I want to show you guys a few examples of what we do and where we are in communication with CCP. I'm not trying, they have a like emergency switch. So if I'm going to show you guys something that's like under NDA, on the disclosure, it's going to hit that button and it's going to screen, going to fall down, so don't worry, I'm going to survive this. And I checked the presentation with the CCP. Summer Bling. Crazy 72 hours. We had 5 meetings with CCP about what was going on. I think nobody missed it. It's a message from Summer Bling that it's closed. Their point of view that CCP threw us under the bus. Yeah, a lot of people were involved. EVE24 did a lot of articles on it, and the people sitting here, 2 of them, spent, I don't think you slept the first 42 hours, I don't think you slept at all, right?
About 72 hours.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know, and I didn't agree. We came to a point, and I'm going to quote you on something, and I hope you don't mind. And he hadn't slept for like 3 days in a row, and we were discussing what are we going to do with Bling. And there's a lot of concerns and a lot of ISK and money and et cetera, et cetera. They shared some numbers with us which were mind-boggling. But in this discussion, Paul talked to us, and you said to us, if CCP is not going to listen or act up to this, I don't know, this is the company where in the future I want to work with. And it shows you something about the integrity and amount of time and effort you put into this, and also your heart. So, and I don't know where you're going to work if I'm kidding. So it's incredible. For us it was 5 meets, which is 5 hours. It's just like, okay, you can, but you guys pulled in insane hours and had a lot of tough. And there are some other things, and you know, and I know you let us meet some people. It was crazy that they came on with us in the meeting, and a lot of respect for those people. I can't tell it here, but it was really impressive. The rig changes. Indy, who owns Jump Freighter? Freighter? Wow, cameras. Oh, you really like the new changes, right?
No.
Okay. Another thing was the change proposal from rigs to low slots. We were heavily involved in that. It was the first time I was really very impressed by the skills of Mina, Goon representative for CSM. The amount of number crunching knowledge was really impressive to me. And the change, I think, are you guys happy with the change with those slots?
I'm very happy. Holy yeah.
Holy yeah.
Yeah, those slots were way better than the rigs.
So so a change that you all raged about into something you all love now is something at CSM we're proud of. Wormholes, another nice change. Wormholes, where are you guys? And I dare to ask the spawn rate from the wormholes, good or bad?
Bad.
Okay. It was a thing where I learned to prioritize within the season. We'll do the questions later. Eh?
No, just 24 in 1 hour.
Okay. It was when I learned to prioritize, because I got involved in the wormhole debate, and I soon realized I know shit about it. I just don't. So I quickly stepped out of it. Kobex put in a lot of time, and it actually changed a little bit in favor of you guys. I'm going to change that. A CSM is made out of volunteers. I have kids, I have a job, I have a wife, and yeah, you have different time zones to cover. But there's also... it's not what you guys think, it's not that I need it. Well, it's working like a drug. The amount you can get on Skype 24 hours a day and talk CCP, talk Eve, with people who share the same passion, and that acts like a drug, especially at the start of the CSM. I was like overwhelmed and sick, wow. And because it's all nice and it's all about the game you love. Let's see if he does something. I broke it. I'm done. Oh, was it yours?
No.
That's working.
Als we even de laptop.
Oh, your year free license of Avast expired. Look at that. It's Boxer. Who uses it? Come on. They're not looking backwards. It's like right underneath. It's another subject which you see is not on par with. It's something we haven't been able, and some of us take very strongly at it. You'll see a picture of somebody using God knows how many accounts at the same time. But then somebody came up with this. Somebody proved that you can also run simultaneous, and this is not a joke. Somebody proved that you can run simultaneous accounts on other ways than using software outside of the game. I mean, you must be crazy, but yeah, it works well with. But the downside of this is Boxer in game, and I find them, I come across them frequently, and I get 7 bombers in full person, beautiful synchronization, making a bomb run on me because there's one dude using his Boxer. Yeah, I had to change the advert, the presentation a bit. These things are going to go through gates soon, guys. It's going to be fucking big. If you look at the gate and the size of the Titan, this magic is going to happen there. Long distance travel, you all know the fatigue. You all know these pictures from the forums. I think Eve24 has never had so many articles as in the last few days about this subject. Also within the CSM, it's pretty funny. A few days ago, all the big guys in all sects stood up and made this big public announcement, and you wonder why they did it at that point. Okay, and a few days later, big news hits Eve, and basically they got all they wanted and a little bit extra, which is a bit of an issue. And that also within the CSM, there's now it's the first time you see people thinking for their block. And that's pretty funny to see, because now suddenly interest of your group or your corporation or your occupation are in danger. I think they're fucking epic, honestly. And seriously, I tweeted it. Eve just got more interesting than it's been in a long time. You don't need to like it, you don't need to agree it, you can have different opinions on the subject, but things are going to change and going to be really interesting. And I like that stir up of the pan. Personally, I would like jump bridges within a region to remain intact, and as somebody else likes to jump freight is not nerfed, and the other person wants to change the 5 light years. It's a very interesting time to be able to get a lot of that. Death cloning. Goons are very adamant at the moment on Skype, on the news, on Reddit, on Twitter, because goons really fear an issue. The new players cannot get into nullsec to join goons. Yeah, right. So, and there's no ulterior motive between keeping death close. It's pretty fun.
Did you like the alpha clone here?
Sorry?
Did you like the alpha clone here? That alpha clones could jump still.
Yeah, I wanted to say that at the end. I don't work for a CCP, and I like to steer away from, also the questions later, steer away from ideas. Because you all have great and awesome ideas, but I'm not the person who's going to okay on them or tell you if it's doable. I've made on that forum, I showed you guys lists of ideas, and we can sit here together and come up with 1,000. There's an awesome amount of solutions, but I like today to keep them for the beer later, then come to me and we'll talk about it. You all know that picture. I wrote this before the nullsec changes came out. I wanted to end this, it's basically my end of my, today, is what I hope for nullsec, is to have that activity on a daily basis, to be able to log into a game and have fun. What we do in Provi now, Provi style, 20 to 70 billion ISK sub-capital fights on a daily basis, close to home. The amount of fun I'm having right now, and you can see it by the number of people from my region here in the audience. I wish that everybody who plays EVE enjoys it up to that level. And I do believe that localized activity, a hindrance on traveling and shitting on everybody's pulse anywhere in EVE within 10 minutes should end. And there's a lot of ideas, like you said. You can drive timers down, there's a lot of changes. CCP clearly stated this is the first of several waves of changes that are going to hit EVE. And some of them might seem out of line right now, but stick with us. Watch that plan evolve, watch SOF and other things follow up and the fine tuning. And hopefully we all get a game and we love to play together. Change is coming, guys, one patch at a time. Things are going to change, you all know that picture. Fights might not be this big, but hopefully more often. Disclaimer at the end about that war deck from the start. VFK is where I live, try to find me. It's not true. Okay, questions, guys?
What's the character name again?
Sorry?
What was your character name again?
Corebloodbrothers.
What I can come in.
It's cool, I can take it, mate.
All of them?
Hashtag Y Providence, Corebloodbrothers, you can find them. Questions?
You had it on the screen, and of course it was on the Mitani that Saya Komitomo went on record saying the 0.0 CSM candidates are all completely opposed to this death vote.
I'll comment.
0.0 or what?
Yeah, I'll comment to that. I find it hard to speak for him, so I'm going to speak for myself. When CCP announces something this big, I think we're in 80% of the changes we were involved at the summit, or if we listen to the recordings, or so we know most of it. But nowhere is it written down that CCP is mandatory to check every single detail with us. It is also true that a text that you guys all read, and that's what he's referring to, is put to us, and the time between putting it to us and releasing it is smaller than in some other circumstances. But 80% of what you guys were reading, we've known for several weeks incoming, and Sion was at the summit and was a part of that. So personally, I can say I stand, and I said it a few times now, I'm a big fan of these changes. And yes, I would like to get into talks with CCP as a CSM, as a group, about some of the details. And I think Sion wants, and now I'm talking for him, now I'm getting off the part where I'm interpreting what he says to Skype on me. I think Sion wants to sit down with the CSM and CCP to chat about the 20% that he feels he hasn't seen or hasn't been able to get his voice on. And that by saying that we as a group agree on everything, so with the CCP and the CSM have this great announcement like that, he feels that he's not heard completely. And I relate to that, but I also feel that if we know 80%, if I go to school, 80% for a grade, I would always be happy in the past. So I kind of disagree on that, but I know where he comes from. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does seem that he thinks he can speak for you. Is that?
You have to ask him. It's we speak on a daily basis on Skype as a group, and if he asks me, Cor, do you like the jump bridge changes? I say no. I like them partially. For example, I like to, if you stay within a region, I think, or you have your jump freighter going, there should be different fatigues numbers to that, but then you get into details. So if you ask me about that, I say, yeah, I would like to have that differently. But if you talk to a super pilot, he might also want to have something changed. So yeah, you can disagree and agree at the same time.
Cor, how is it to know these top secret things weeks before
Epic.
spilled?
I usually sell them to Botmo. No, yeah, what can I say about that? It's, and I hardly ever have the feelings like I want to burst and tell people, because for me, maybe this is age. I'm 42 years old, I have 4 kids, I work at a company and I have in my team 65 people, and I feel responsible for these people. And I think within the CSM, I'm a volunteer, I don't get paid, but there's people here, their mortgage, their salaries, their future depends on what they make and how you perceive it, and if you want to keep paying this. So I think that my part on that, and my responsibility towards what it means for the people from CCP, I think you should see that in balance. And it would be very disrespectful, and it would be a smack in somebody's face, even I feel personal, if you would break that trust, and even potentially, it's their job. It's more important than standing in front of an audience doing, it's CSM. I might not run next year, or I might. But it doesn't influence the rest of my life, and for them this is real. So, for you guys, Eve is also real, of course. Famous.
What part of Eve did surprise you the most when you entered the CSM?
Part of...
when you have your knowledge area within the game, and you are now confronted with the completeness of Eve.
Yeah, I still try to keep away from industry. It's not a joke. I have a lot of respect when I see Mina of Goons. I don't know if I pronounce the name right. M-I-N-N-E. How he crunches numbers, how he's into that stuff. I see people in my corp, or Schroeder from Ossim, sort of famous bomber pilot, how he runs his process in spreadsheets that like completely baffle me. And the amount of dedication that some people put into this game, that surprises me. And also CCP is a company from 24 hours a day, and the commitment they have, which is like real. It's not pretend that you have this commitment, but it's real. They make video songs about it, which I actually listen. It's an awesome song. I listened to it last night, and I think, how can you make that? It's crazy. So it's dedication from people, I think, and that surprised me most. How many people on all sorts of levels are dedicated. And that's, I mean, there's 200 dedicated people in the audience. And that alone is crazy.
How much time a week do you spend on CSM activities?
100. It varies. Like I said with the Blink Summits earlier, there's 5 meetings. I think I attended 4. There's a lot of emails. I have an iPad and then there's Skype on it. And I look at it, it's an ongoing process during the day, so I find it hard to, but I can pick. I can say, oh, I'm busy, or I don't want to be a part of that, because I'm a volunteer. I would say 1 or 2 hours a day, but it's not clustered in a block of an hour. In the morning I open Skype and click delete and whatnot. It varies. So, and closing convos a lot. That is most of the time in game, closing. Because I have one tune, Corebloodbrothers, and the others I'm not going to tell you guys. Answer your question? In the background, somebody's waving 2 hands.
Yes.
Oh shit, Republican. Go ahead, Nate.
I have one question.
Good.
Regarding the jump changes and the dates. Entitled as a superstar. If not, why not?
The second question is not mine to answer. Why not? Because I don't decide. Yeah, supers and titans will be able to use the gates, so you can have a low-sec gate camp with your supers.
You're not saying the public call.
But JS is here from PL, and he's famous for his hot drops in Arton, so be careful. And you guys can like kiss and make up later. More questions in the back, somebody? The big dude.
What advice do you have for people who want to run for CSM?
Join Profit Blocker.
Do you think the new ad cycle affects the game in a positive way?
Sorry, the new?
The new ad cycle, like
I have to, yeah, I have opinion about it. We're going to do it differently. Do you think the new cycle? Did everybody understand the question? No. Okay, the new. You mean the release cycle, right? Of once a month. Everybody stand up if you think the new release cycle is better than the old one. Does that answer your question? Thank you. And if you ask me personally, I agree with all these people, because having a monthly, I work in an IT environment. When you have a project which goes long, you have the tendency to keep piling shit on it, and it keeps getting bigger and complicated, and it gets out of hand, and eventually shit doesn't get implemented. And when it does, there's too many unended strings. And when you have only a limited amount of time, and I'm going to ask you now to write, to make a cartoon of a puppet, and I give you 1 crayon and a piece of paper, and you get 1 minute, I know what I'm going to get. It's a circle, it's and I'm going to give you the artistic freedom to take a month for that, and in the end you'll say, yeah, it's not finished. And when I give you a minute, it's finished, and you say, okay, this is it. So I think that's a great benefit. They call them sprints. I think you call them sprints too, probably. Yeah, you use the same methodology. So you get a lot together with the teams on a daily basis. At the end, you decide what did we achieve, what is the next step or sprint, and what did we learn. And constantly repeating the cycle, things speed up in an ideal IT environment. And I think the audience agrees. I mean, the last one is we just had that, and the next one is around the corner. I'm already looking forward to the next one, and not half a year. So I think, yeah, it's awesome. And we're just getting, CCP just getting into this mechanism. It's just only going to improve. And you guys get 10 releases for free. Next question. I'm running out of time, you need to... Almost. More questions? Yes?
at the beginning of your presentation, you told something about big free fights in 0-0.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the constant harassment from Isaac?
Sorry? You mean Spectre, or are you Spectre? He's on Spectre. I think what we've seen recently, and now I need to speak not as a CSM member, but as a Profi dude. We've seen Bombers Bar, we've seen Spectre, we have Open RVB Rome, the gang rooms. I think it's insane content-wise. And what we saw last week, Spectre getting together in Losec, forming 150 battleships. Of course, 250. And of course, PL straight shit on it and dropped on it. But they come into our area and they roam and they have an awesome evening. If Spectre comes into our area, we know they're going to drop 2 capitals. And they always do. And it's an awesome sub-cap fight. And they keep coming. And same goes for Bombers Bar, is the fact that you get people together and you form a community that is meaningful and it makes people proud to be in it. Even if you're a shit as Profibog is, that makes the people are proud, and that the half of this audience is of my alliance or allegiance. And I hope the same goes for Bombers Bar. So I don't mind if you're PL or Goons or Bombers Bar or RVB or EVE University. If you form this community and you stick together and you have fun, and it means you're crazy enough to come to Amsterdam today, I think what can you ask more of a game? Does that answer your question? Okay, next, one more, I think.
I think we're done.
We're done? Now we're done. Thank you very much, guys.